Hey there, Natalie here, and today's video is about how to disassociate from your thoughts. In other words, I'm going to be talking about mindful thinking. So, in this video, what you're going to learn is what mindful thinking is. You're going to learn how to break down the repetitive thoughts that are actually just lies that keep repeating in your head. You're going to learn how to let go of those thoughts, especially the ones that don't serve you anymore. And you're going to learn some wonderful tactics on how to start being more aware of your thoughts, your patterns, and how to start to make some changes for that. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to start transforming your life from the inside out through mindful thinking. So, are you excited to start your journey of clarity and peace? All right, here we go. I've been using these tools in my own life. This video in particular has some great strategies for how to tackle life as it's happening. So on the day-to-day basis, when you're in situations, tough situations, you find yourself stressing out, these little tools are really going to make a difference for you. So let's look at what patterns we typically fall into. Normally, when we're in a situation, whatever it may be, we have a thought or an emotion that rises up in us. And then from that thought or emotion, we have an action or a reaction to something in our environment. So, maybe you're in a tough situation, a sibling or a loved one starts arguing with you, or maybe it's a coworker. And then, these thoughts of like, why does this person keep doing this? And, you can feel your body start to tense up, and, all these emotions from all the past times that they've hurt you start to come up, and then you snap. You start to react to that person who's starting that argument with you. And these are the typical patterns. Now that's more of a negative, pattern on the extreme side, but this is our pattern with everything in life. The same thing happens when something we like comes around. We see something that we want and that we enjoy, and these emotions start to come up. Oh, I wish I could have that thing, in that store window, and oh, wouldn't that make me feel so good? We have a thought and emotion, and then our reaction is, oh gosh, I can't really afford it, but I'm gonna go buy it anyways, right? So it can work in either direction, and these are, kind of unhealthy situations perhaps, but these are our patterns. We have a thought or an emotion that rises up inside us, and then it causes us to act and react. Now, to become more aware of your thoughts, of your patterns, we want to have a little bit of background on how this system works, that we're living our life in every day, and then how we can start to change that, or how we can start to become more aware of it so that we can start to manifest the life that we really want. So with mindful thinking, we're learning how to disassociate from our thoughts and become more of an observer of our thoughts. So I've drawn a quick little sketch here of you as this happy person here. Now, there's a couple things that happen that we tend to be very closely connected with. One is our thoughts. So when something happens, we've got this internal dialogue that's going on about how we think and feel about that person in the same room as us, about this situation that just happened, about the traffic that you're sitting in on the freeway, whatever it is. We have thoughts. Now, these thoughts also come along with some emotions that you might be feeling. You might be getting angry that you're in a lot of traffic, or you might be kind of frustrated that you keep telling your roommate to wash the dishes and then they don't. You get these emotions that start to come up. We also get tension. Now, tension is more of a physical sensation, and tension actually causes pain. If you've got chronic neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, there's a good chance it might be coming from this kind of subconscious area of things that we live our life through, the thoughts, the emotion, and then we can also hold that junk as physical tension, stress from the long hours at work, that long drive home, the frustration of feeling like you're hitting a wall every time you talk to your spouse, whatever it may be, that could be causing some physical tension that manifests as pain or disease in the body. So these are some things that we want to start to become aware of. Right now, you may not be thinking about a lot of these things. You just kind of live out your life every day, and you just go about. You get up, you make your breakfast, you make your coffee, you get the kids ready for school, and you shove them out the door, and you go to work, and you come back, and you're just kind of going, but you're not really taking a lot of attention to understand, okay, what am I actually thinking? Are these healthy thoughts? What kind of emotions are rising up? And do they just come? Am I aware of them? Do I try to actually change them and control them? Or do I just let these outbursts continue to happen without actually trying to change that pattern? Or maybe you've got a lot of physical pain and tension in your neck and your shoulders and your back or wherever else it may be. Maybe you're holding it in your organs and you're not really doing anything about it. You're just like, oh, it's just there. That pain is always there. And so you just kind of push it away and ignore it instead of acknowledging it and understanding that that's a clue to maybe there's something you need to start paying more attention to internally. So this is what tends to happen to us on the daily, over and over again. This is how we live our life. Now, to become more mindful of our patterns, we want to start to become, focus on thinking and watching what's going on. We have the thought, there is a thinker. Sometimes the thoughts just rise up in us out of nowhere, and then we can also start to analyze that. We can start to think, hey, I just had this thought that there's something that I really want, this goal that I want to do. I don't feel like I can. I don't feel like I'm good enough, or I don't think I can do it because I'm with the kids all the time throughout the week and I never have time to myself, so I can't really reach that goal. These are thoughts that just kind of rise up in us. But then we can start to analyze that thought with our rational mind and be like, well, is that true? Do I really have no time? Maybe if I asked my husband or my wife, to take the kids on a Saturday to the park for 2 or 3 hours, maybe I could reach that goal that I've been wanting to do, or that thing I've been wanting to do, or something that I've been wanting to create, or whatever else it is, You can start to become the thinker and start to analyze some of this. And then beyond that, this is where really, the mindfulness comes from, is becoming the observer of your thoughts, the observer of how you're analyzing things. And as the observer, it's kind of like pulling away from your own mind and pulling away from your body in a sense, and getting a larger perspective of you and your own patterns. Now, as the observer of your own thoughts, your own emotions, and the tension that you're holding in your body and the pain that you're holding in the body, your goal is to just look at it. Just see it. It's not about trying to change anything. It's not about, trying to actively try and, okay, well, I don't want to be thinking that thought. I don't want to be feeling this pain, so I've got to do something about it. No, it's just about observing. And the beauty in this is you will have so many epiphanies, so many realizations about yourself and about other people and the world as you start to really master this mindful thinking. Now, while you're in that moment of just kind of observing what's going on with your own thoughts and emotions and pain, you may start to also notice some judgment happening. You may start to analyze unconsciously, and then you want to pull yourself back again, because you'll get in this almost tug of war of, okay, I'm just going to try and look at my thoughts. I'm going to try and be quiet. I'm just going to try and notice. But then sometimes we start to analyze. We start to judge those thoughts. Why do I keep having this thought? I want to change this thought. I'm so tired of thinking this way. Why can't I make these changes? And then we kind of fall into that cycle too. So really being the observer is also noticing when that thinker comes in, that thinker that starts to judge. So that's why I like to map it out this way of understanding that when we start to become in our mindful awareness, that conscious awareness, we pull ourselves out to observing, you'll notice that you'll start to slip into that thinker position of, it's hard, it can be a challenge in the beginning to just observe without thinking about it, to observe without judging, to observe without analyzing. But I promise you, it gets easier with time. So, you may start to notice that there's some negative outlooks. Maybe you're putting yourself down, or you're putting your other people down. Maybe there's a lot of fears that come up when you start to just observe what's going on. Maybe a lot of judgment, you know, about life, about yourself, about others, about politics, who knows, you know, or you may start to notice, God, I've got a lot of lazy thoughts, whatever it is. Now you might be asking yourself, so how can I control my mind? Now, mindful thinking is not about controlling your mind. This is about using your conscious awareness to understand yourself better and to get clarity. Now, you can reprogram your subconscious mind and start to change the type of thoughts that you have. That's another video that I've got, so I'll put a link in the description of this video so you kind of check out a little bit more about reprogramming your subconscious mind. It can be done through self-hypnosis, through a lot of repetition, and there's a lot to that. But that works very complementary with what I'm talking about in this video, which is more the conscious awareness. So there's a subconscious work that you can do, and this video is talking about this conscious work of just starting to be aware of all this stuff that's surfacing in your mind, in your body, and in your emotions. So working on both is really great. Now, a couple tactics so that you can actually start to filter through as you become the observer. The first step is just to observe, just to notice the patterns without judgment. Then the next thing is just to acknowledge, okay, this is the thought that it keeps coming up, or this is an emotion that I feel several times throughout the day. So I just feel stress, I feel tension coming up, tension in my chest, shortness of breath, or I get these migraines, I get these headaches, I get, you know, my neck hurts, my shoulders feel tight. Just notice those and then acknowledge it. Okay, this is my pattern, this is what I'm doing. Okay, once you acknowledge it, you need to start to question it. Is it necessary? Do I need to be holding on to all this tension in my shoulders? What, you know, do I really need to be tightening my chest and not taking deep breaths throughout the day? Maybe that's causing my headaches. Or maybe there's another way of looking at this situation in my life. And maybe I can start to reframe how I think about that situation so that it's more positive. How can I be constructive about this instead of just thinking one negative thought after another and woe is me and blaming this person and judging that person and hating myself for something I did? Start to reframe all of that. Acknowledge it, question it, and change it. Another important thing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is so essential, and most likely as you start to notice the patterns that you have, you might start to be hard on yourself because you want to change so bad, but you just keep seeing the same things happen over and over again. And then it's like, why am I like this? Just take a deep breath, be gentle with yourself, and forgive yourself. This is a process to learn, you know, new patterns. It's a process to start acknowledging and taking responsibility for the patterns you've created, whether they're thoughts, physical, you know, responses, or emotional responses. And over time, it gets easier and easier, and you're going to feel better and better. But you got to be easy on yourself with this. And it's important to be easy with others too. So learn to forgive others. Just because you forgive someone doesn't condone what they did. It doesn't mean what they did is okay. All it's doing is when you forgive someone else, you are allowing yourself to let go of that pain. You're allowing yourself to let go of the repetitive thoughts. You're allowing yourself to let go of the tension that comes along with that unforgiveness. And you're allowing yourself to let go of that emotional baggage. You have a choice of what you hold on to and what you don't hold on to. What you keep in your body that just causes pain and negativity and negative emotions and negative thoughts. And you have control of what you choose to let go of. And forgiveness is how you let go of other people's baggage. You don't need to punish other people over and over and over again, because when you do that, you may or may not be punishing them, but you will always, guaranteed, be punishing yourself every time you do that. So forgive others and forgive yourself for everything you've ever done. Forgive yourself for not being able to change fast enough and, you know, move forward. It comes with time, and it comes with forgiveness, and it comes with this kind of a practice. Once you've forgiven, then you can let go of it. You're like, you know what? I don't need that anymore. I don't need that repetitive thought. I don't need to get so emotional every time this one situation comes up with my kids. Getting emotional and getting upset, it just doesn't serve me. It's not productive. It doesn't help me any. So let it go. Acknowledge it, forgive it, let it go because it doesn't serve you. And then that allows us to be open to create a new, good, positive thought. You know, it opens you up to getting clarity, a little more peace, and starting to create new patterns for yourself. This is the conscious awareness that's really going to change your life. As you start to utilize these tools on a daily basis, you're going to feel so different. And on one more note, thoughts and meditation. So meditation is the perfect way to start to, apply more of this mindful thinking and to create more conscious awareness, because we have these repetitive thoughts that keep coming up and over again. So meditation, when you utilize it as a simple clearing of the thoughts, find a quiet place, whether you're lying or sitting in a quiet room, and it can only, it doesn't have to be a long time, but even a few minutes, or if you've got a long time. I've actually sat, for an hour and a half and laid on the bed and just, practiced quieting my mind and noticing, as you start to attempt to create that silence in your mind, because there's always a chatter just going, right? We're always thinking, we're always analyzing, we're always judging, we're always, something's coming up most of the time. But when you start to practice silence in your mind, that gap between your thoughts, that's where the clarity comes from. That's where your creativity comes from. And that's where you're going to find true peace in your life. Now, as you practice your meditation, you may only have these moments for 1 or 2 seconds initially, and they may be sporadic, and it's really hard to stop your mind from thinking. But with practice, it gets easier and easier. Now, as you're in your meditative state, you're focusing on quieting your mind. As these thoughts start to come into your mind, just observe it. Don't judge it. Don't get emotional about it. Don't put it into a category. Don't question it. Just notice it without judging. Acknowledge it and let it go. And then maybe you'll have another second or 2 of quiet. And you do it again. You just attempt to go longer and longer with a quiet mind, and it can create some real peace and clarity. It allows you to open up to finding those moments where you get clarity. Okay? Now, during this meditation time, if you so choose, you can also use the 5 steps that I gave you, observing without judgment, acknowledging and questioning it, forgiveness, letting go, and then reframing it with a new positive thought. You can do that as well, but I highly recommend, if you start to practice meditation, even if it's a few minutes here and there, a couple times a week, whatever it may be, or more, practice quieting your mind. It will really help you with your mindful thinking on a daily basis. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, throw out a few comments. I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are. If you've got any questions, please comment on this video. I do post videos weekly, sometimes a couple times a week, which I've been doing lately. So I hope you enjoy this, and stay tuned for more videos. Check the description below. I'm going to put some links to some of my other videos that I think you would really love that go along with this, understanding how to reprogram your subconscious mind. And please spread the word. Share this video with your friends and family if you think it will help them get some clarity and improve their lives in some way, because mindful thinking and learning how to disassociate from our thoughts can be so powerful and really create an entirely new perspective on life to create more happiness, more love, more clarity, and peace. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day.